Hello, it's Miss Heather, piano and voice teacher here at Conservatory of the Ozarks, here with Miss Marisa. She's a junior apprentice in training to be a piano teacher right now here at the Conservatory. So today she's going to learn about the music for little Mozarts curriculum for the first time. So far she's only taught the Hal Leonard books. So this book, the lessons book, is the central book, just like with any other set of piano method books. And it starts with a story, and you can read the story to the student. If you have a parent who's involved and is going to actually help the child practice at home, which they'll have to if they do music for little Mozarts, because these kids are going to be too young to read, much less pull out a book and look at the assignment you wrote down and then practice it appropriately. So it's also, you can see here, track 1 on the CD, which comes with it. This CD pack has 2 CDs. It has the lessons book CD and the discovery book CD. So obviously for the lessons book, you'll use the lessons book CD, not the discovery book CD. So this story is the first track. So with these young children, having them understand the story and the characters in the curriculum is really important, because it allows you to use this child's sense of fantasy to help them feel interested in piano, because the songs are about the characters in the story, and so you want them to really know the story and the names of the characters and things like that. So sometimes after they've heard the story or the first time they're hearing it, I'll let them listen to it, and I'll have them do a coloring page, or I'll suggest for the parent to do that at home. And sometimes parents will be like, why does this have toys and coloring and stuff with it? But this is designed for very young children. So we need to have a different type of activity, like every 5 minutes. We got to switch it up so they stay focused and engaged. We need a lot of different things to do. But each of the activities, they are centered around music. So young children, they can't read and write yet. So coloring is one of the ways that they can learn about what we're trying to teach them. So the story is about the 2 main characters of the book, Mozart Mouse and Beethoven Bear, and you can see they're so cute. And they come in the starter kit we give out to conservatory students. So this story talks about how they live in the playroom, but their favorite thing to do is to sneak out to the music room when nobody's around so they can look at the piano. And so you'll talk about that with the kids, and you'll look, for your first day at the coloring book, which is literally just a coloring book. But you can see here's a picture of Mozart Mouse and Beethoven Bear. So you can read them the story, and then you can color the picture together with them and talk about Mozart Mouse and Beethoven Bear. Sometimes I'll maybe even put the bear here, and we'll talk about the bear while we're coloring. Ideally, they'll do the written work at home, like with any other set of books. But if you get a student and they never do the written work at home because the parents aren't helping them do anything at home, then I'll do it during the lesson. And it has all kinds of different things that go along with. So when we learn D, Beethoven Bear is searching for D. So lots of different pages, and these correlate with whatever you're doing in the lessons book. So here's a picture of the playroom where they live and all of their friends. So you just want to make sure you don't give extra pages ahead of where you're at. Here it talks about the high sounds and the low sounds, so you're not going to assign that page till you're in the lesson book, the high sounds and low sounds page. This doesn't say, some of them do, use with page whatever in the lessons book.
Yeah.
But you can just, use your brain to figure it out. It's not that complicated.
Okay.
And then we have the workbook. So this is a little bit more challenging than the coloring pages. It does involve coloring, but it's more like a music theory book, a really basic one. The first page is Coloring Mozart Mouse and Beethoven Bear, just a little bit of a different picture. And then it shows hand shape. So for this page, I'll talk about in the lessons book on page 5, you talk about hand shape and how you need to hold your bubble, and I'll have them practice finding the stool to keep their feet flat on the floor. We talk about piano posture, all that stuff. So we'll talk about how this is the rounded hand shape and this is the shape that we want, but then we'll also talk about like what's wrong with this and what's wrong with this, and how we either can have flat fingers when we play, which is where the big knuckle goes flat, or we can have squishy knuckles, which is where the little knuckle caves in, and how we don't want either of those. We want to have firm knuckles, so if your teacher taps your knuckles, they can stay firm. And so I'll talk about it with them one time, and then hopefully they go home and do the page, and I'll tell the parent, like, the first day just have them point, and then the second day they practice, maybe you can have them cross out the wrong ones, and then the third day they could circle the correct ones. So you can get a few days of use out of most of these pages if you do one time talking about it, one time pointing at it, and then like another time actual the circling, which is what you're supposed to do, and then another time like Xing or put stickers, like a certain sticker on the correct one, so you can make them think through the same thing several times. Because just because a student gives the right answer one time doesn't always mean that they really have learned the material. You probably have seen that.
Yeah.
And then of course, like high sounds and low sounds, color the high sounds red, color the low sounds blue. And this book does tell you, use with page whatever in the lessons book, so that way you know which pages to circle each week. And the discovery book, this is a book with music, movement. It does solfege, which is like do, re, mi. And I love it. It goes over composers and lots of different fun things. It has some coloring exercises. This is kind of like the practice games book. And a lot of people who teach like to skip over these things, but I think they're so good, especially for the little kids, because they have activities like you sing a song and you stomp half notes. So like you feel the 2 beats with your whole body. And then you also learn what it looks like when you see on paper with your eyes what the half note looks like. And I think they get such a better, well-rounded sense of this is what a quarter note feels like and sounds like when they have experienced it several different ways, not just like, okay, hold it, 1, 2, but like they've clapped it with the flashcard, they've stomped it with the song, and they can like feel that pulse. So these are great. So this first one, it's really just for fun. It's like a hello song, and you talk about the characters during the song. Mozart Mouse likes high sounds, Beethoven Bear likes low sounds, and they're doing all the actions in these pictures. So maybe the first time I'll have them listen to it and we'll talk about these pictures and then maybe color one of them, and they can color some of them at home. You clap your hands, stomp your feet, touch the ground, turn around. So you can be like, oh look, he's clapping like it says to do in the song. And then you can play the song here if you want to, but it's exactly like what's on the CD. I never play it, I just sing along with them because I think it's kind of more fun for them to sing along with them. Second one, which also goes with the first lesson, is if you're happy and you know it, they give you the song to play and the lyrics, so even the parent can read along. And it's just the typical, if you're happy and you know, clap your hands. So they're clapping and jumping in the picture. And this book does also give you use with lesson book page whatever. Then flashcards. We'll go ahead and open these since we already know who these are for. So these flashcards are nice because they're really big. So there's room to put stickers on the back of them. And they do say, use with page whatever in the lessons book. So you don't start these till page 10 when you get to loud sounds and soft sounds. And this, of course, you would hold up and they would say, forte, loud. And so pretty simple to use. And I just will usually, just like with the other flashcards, I'll put the new one on top and then put the rubber band or the bag around it so they don't get mixed up, and then just keep adding. So the top pile gets bigger and the inside pile gets smaller until they've learned all of the cards in the whole packet. And going through the flashcards is a really great way to review all the concepts in the book like very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then these other ones, this is the, oh, you have 2 recital books in here. You only need 1. So this is the recital book for level 1. And this one, just kind of like the solos book in the Hal Leonard books.
Mm-hmm.
You don't start till you get to page 20 in the lessons book. Once you're already on the black keys playing some songs. So they're a little harder. And these books don't have units, but I kind of divide them into units still, like kind of like the pre-unit, and then the black key unit, and then the white key unit.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be part of the black key unit. You wouldn't start it right away. And it, you can see here, it switches over to white keys on page 8. As you can tell, here's where the letters start.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't start that till after the black keys are all finished. And this is a tricky thing. In the back of the book, you have to remember on page 17, they have challenge repertoire. So this is supposed to happen when you're on page 25 of the lesson book, but it's after the regular white key in the book. I kind of don't like that they do it. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, just put it with the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have forgotten to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
So try not to forget. But it's just this one for the black key songs, Hot Cross Buns. But kids love playing that song, so. And then the rest of them are all white key challenge repertoire, and it has like Go Tell Aunt Rhody, which is like a nightmare for everybody. It's always so hard. See that? It's like really hard. So that's the recital book, and those are great for a recital because they're a little bit harder. This is the other thing, the whiteboard. You wouldn't use this side with level 1 because you don't start reading notes on the staff till level 2. But this side you could use for all kinds of things. You can use the magnets, like have them put a certain color magnet on the 2 black keys and then on the 3 black keys, or have them use the dry erase marker, and we have extra in the art studio, to circle the 3 black keys or the 2 black keys, or have them put a magnet on all the D's or all the whatevers. You can practice tracing their fingers and identifying finger numbers down here, or drawing whole notes or half notes. A lot of kids love using this marker board, and I kind of follow the student's lead when it's a little Mozarts lesson and it's a really young child. Like, if the kid comes in and is like, I want to use my marker board, I'm like, fine, let's use your marker board, because it is a useful tool, and if you're interested in it, then let's do the thing you're interested in instead of me fighting to like get you to do whatever I want you to start with.
Yeah, because they don't have fun.
Usually I do that. Yeah, and it is kind of like, this should be fun.
Yeah.
At this age. Sometimes later it's not always fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's just work sometimes. But for these kids, it should be fun. They should look forward to their lesson with you, and they should enjoy it. Yeah. That's what I think. If they don't like it at this age, then they can get turned off to it for the rest of their lives. So I'm kind of like, is it more important to me that this lesson goes exactly how I want it to go, and we cover exactly as many pages as I want to cover, or is it more important that this child enjoys this time, loves, associates, like, I love doing this with music class, and feels a connection, with, like a positive connection with me, and wants to come back next week, because sometimes you don't get the lesson you want that week out of a toddler. But you will. If you're patient, you'll get that lesson maybe the next week or the week after. And, you just have to be patient and have realistic expectations with somebody who's like 3 or 4. This is the Christmas supplement book. And I love this one. It's so fun. It has this cute story. And there's some videos of me reading these stories on our channel that you can put, if you don't feel like reading it, you put on one of those videos and let them color the picture of them counting off the days to Christmas. They have these, it's like color by number, but it's color by note, so like all the quarter notes are one color, etc. Yeah, they're really fun. I do read these stories because the stories make the songs make sense. So, if you read the story, almost always, if I read this story And I'm like, now do you want to hear what the snowman song sounds like? They'll be like, yeah, you know. Whereas a lot of times if I ask a student if they want to learn a new song, the next song in the book, they'll be like, no.
Yeah.
So the stories are very helpful. And it just has these 3 songs. A lot of times you can get 2 years out of this, depending on what time of year the student starts and how fast they go. Because the first one, the snowman song, is on the black keys. But then the next 2 are on the white keys. So if they get it after they're already done with the black keys, you can just do a review with the black key one and only get 1 year out of it. But the Halloween fun, also really fun.
So cool.
And I do usually try to remember to ask when I have a new student, you know, are you guys okay with celebrating Halloween? Because some people are not. And are you okay with Christmas music and church music? Because not everybody is. So, you know, you don't want to offend somebody or make them buy something they're not going to use.
Yeah.
And again, Halloween story, so cute. Pumpkins everywhere on the black keys. These are great songs for like the first recital.
Yeah.
And the Halloween one has more black key songs. I think because the idea is Halloween happens before Christmas, so hopefully by Christmas they've gotten to the white keys. Which doesn't always happen, but then this is the Sacred Book, Beethoven, Bear, Mozart, Mouse Go to Church. So you can see this is orange and green. Green is level 2, so it overlaps level 1 and level 2. And it has just, you know, songs kids would sing at church. So you can see these are kind of hard, and they're on the white keys. So after you get to the white keys, if your student is doing well and like, you know, they're a family that's really active in church and the kid's gonna know Jesus loves me, it's fun for them to be able to play a song that they recognize, you know? And it's great practice. And this can be something they work on along with the regular books for like a few months because it's hard. And then you can be like, yeah, let's start working on this now. And you can play this in 3 months at the whatever recital.
Yeah.
And this is the assignment book. So I love the assignment books for this. It's more detailed than the regular one we use. So you would fill in your contact information. I usually put the studio's phone number and address, and then also my cell phone number. And it gives like a lot of information that it would be good for you to read. But each week you have all this stuff. And I think it's so good to take the time to fill this out. So you put lesson number 1 for the very first week, and then you track each lesson number, like which week is this? Is this lesson number 3? And once I started doing that with these, it's so interesting to see like, oh wow, this person got all the way to here in only 50 lessons. It took this other person like 80 lessons. And you could, I don't know, it's really interesting to see like, it's a really concrete gauge of a person's progress. And then here you'd write lesson book pages, the new ones, and then the ones to keep reviewing, workbook, discovery book. And then down here, I'll write things like the flashcards, the recital book, or even down here. Sometimes I'll cross out a review if there's, like usually there's not a review page in the workbook. So I maybe would put like marker board or flashcards or whatever and just cross out review. And then you put, I will usually put what is the practice goal. Usually 3 days of 15 minutes for kids this age. If they do a great job, they can put a sticker here. And then I try to fill these out. So I like to use a different color pen each week. That way I can tell which week I wrote with, and then I put a check mark by the previous week's pages if I went over it that day, so I can look at it really quickly and be like, okay, that was what I did last week, and that's what I did the week before. And I never hit this book that week, so this week I'm going to start with that. And so also down here I can tell, okay, so today she was really well prepared. She clearly practiced her songs, and so I'm going to write a little note here to the parent saying, wow, like what a lot of improvement from last week's lesson. I was so impressed. And maybe also here, just keep working for a rounded hand shape because I saw a lot of flat fingers today. And maybe you didn't write in these two boxes, but then the following week you could write in those with the other colored ink.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also write comments here, and the parent can write you a note there. And this is the tricky thing, like some parents will never, ever, ever open this book
Mm-hmm.
and look at it, which is kind of sad.
Yes.
But I feel like even if you know the parent is never looking at this, you should still act as if they were going to look at it, because maybe they will look at it one of the weeks, and you don't want that to be the week you were lazy and you didn't write anything down in it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have had a lot of parents who are really good about writing in this, looking at it, like, and they'll write me comments here like, oh, she practiced 3 times this week and she was really focused every time. We got all the written work done. Oh, but we didn't have time to do the flashcards. Like, that kind of feedback is so helpful for me. So I'll try to address that at the placement audition, so the parent knows, and in the first lesson,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this is what, if you write something here, I'll see that, and that helps me know what's going on. And writing it down, documenting it is always really powerful, because you may think, oh, I'll tell the teacher this at the lesson, but you know, you're in a hurry and you don't remember. But if it's written here in the moment, you're like, oh, she totally did this thing perfectly, then I'm going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really great. And then you can have them practice finding 2 black keys and stuff down here once they get to that unit, or D's or whatever. So if they're doing, like, they're working really hard in their lesson to pass a song, but they can't quite get it, I'm not going to give them a sticker on the song,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll let them put stickers like here in the workspace or something. I'll maybe like write the name of the song, and we'll put like a sticker for each time they play it, so they still get, you know, a reward. They need so many rewards.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not lowering my standard of expectation
Yeah.
and letting them have it easy, but I'm still giving them a reward for working hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so like, this is another thing. So this is lesson number 1. Next week will be number 2. Today, the lesson is on Tuesday at 5:30, and the date is June 6th. But next week, we're going to have a lesson, for whatever reason, on Wednesday at 4, and it's going to be June 14th. So that's kind of nice, and I sometimes will write, like, just a reminder, no lessons next week because of summer break, or whatever. I'll write a little note up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always feel like the more we can document, the better it is.
Yeah.
Because, and I'll try to write stuff like maybe while the student is picking a sticker or something, like write something down really fast. Because that way if the parent does come to you and be like, hey, why isn't he progressing? What are you even doing in the lessons?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be like, oh, let me open this up right here, and you can see we did this book, and while we were working on this page, we were learning about quarter notes and da-da-da-da-da. So that's how each of the books work. Then the next thing is, what do you learn in level 1? So the lessons book gives you an overview. I usually have students go from page 4 down to here, page 18, the 3 black keys. And that's kind of like the first unit, like they don't divide it into units, but that's what I consider a unit. And then I'll have them do a marathon video where they demonstrate how to find their piano posture, how to use a rounded hand shape, and they just play note clusters like this.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first chance for them to learn, like, this is how you touch the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Not like flat fingers.
Yeah.
And then I'll just play all of the even numbers on the tracks. So starting with, just like I said, piano posture and hand shape. Do they know how to put the stool so their feet will be flat and all that? And then on page 6, I would play track 4. And first I would play My Bear Likes Low Sounds, and then the student plays it. Like, they put every song twice on the track. And then My Mouse Likes High Sounds. So if you just go 4, 6, and I usually make a playlist of all the even tracks, so you can skip the story after they've heard the story a couple times. They don't want to listen to it anymore, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And going up, going down, I make them demonstrate, sliding up and sliding down the keys, and then I also make them identify it by listening to the track and telling me, was that going up or was that going down?
Mm-hmm.
And then loud sounds and soft sounds. There's the loud sound song and the soft sound song. So you can play loud sounds and soft sounds anywhere on the piano.
Mm-hmm.
And then they demonstrate their finger numbers and being able to find their right and left hand, which you always put Mozart mouse up here for the beginning of the lesson, and you put Beethoven bear down there. And so that helps, because if they aren't sure, when you're like, hold up your right hand, you can remind them, it's the one by Mozart mouse.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps them start to remember, gives them a frame of reference. And then, just like with the blue books, I have them find the highest set of 2 black keys and the lowest set of 2 black keys and leapfrog. That's part of this. And then they just play these little songs, 1, 1, 1, 1, play 2 black keys with both hands, first left, then right. And then this is the first like real song, left hand walking and right hand marching. And you can actually teach them how to read with this, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding the 3 black keys and quarter rest. And then this one. So usually I'll have them do the marathon video to about here. And sometimes like the song parts, the bear song and the left hand walking, sometimes those are a little hard, so I might skip those and just have them do the note cluster ones for the 2 black keys and the 3 black keys. And then that's their marathon video, and then we can move on officially to playing songs on the black keys.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start there with the black keys, and we play. That's kind of like unit 2, is till you get to here. So once you get to Down We Go and all of the recital book black key songs, then they can do their marathon video of those. And then the last thing is to learn the white keys. And of course you just finish all the way to the end of the book with that. And they also learn some more things like half notes and whole rests. And then every song in here is going to be one hand at a time, either right or left. And you learn 3 keys with each hand, C, B, A, and C, D, E. And you are also like learning the beginning of middle C position. And then you learn F, G, A with the right hand A. You learn the rest of the letters F and G in level 2. And also how to read notes on the staff.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of an overview. It's a lot. Do you have any questions?
Just for like the specific lesson I'm gonna teach, since it's at home, do I need to bring like stickers and like a stool and all that stuff, since it's not?
No,
gonna
she'll
be
be here. She'll be here. Yeah, at the same time as her dad's lesson.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I thought it was the one at their house in.
This is a different family.
Okay,
Yeah.
that
So
makes more
you-
sense.
Yeah, but that is a good question. I have all these little items back here that I use for some of the songs. You can always, come and borrow any of those if you need to, as long as you don't have to interrupt a lesson to get them. And, of course, use any of the stickers and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, they're important, stickers and candy. And unfortunately, this is really expensive. It's $137.07 after tax. It's like the very most expensive thing that we sell. But it's so worth it. It usually lasts at least a year, and I can easily do an hour with a kid with
Mhm.
this curriculum, because it holds their interest
Yeah.
and it's fun. And parents are always like, I don't know if they can do the whole half hour, and I'm always kind of like, it's actually kind of hard to do a half hour lesson with little Mozart, because an hour lets you get everything done better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I almost never have a child who's like, are we almost done with this yet? I want to go. Because it's
That's
fun
good.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would suggest watching some of the marathon videos
Mm-hmm.
so you can kind of see what the kid is expected to know by the end. But
Okay.
any other questions?
I'm trying to think if I have any. For now, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, hopefully you can observe a few lessons with some of the people who are working on these things already.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, Thumbs up for little Mozarts.
Yay.